How you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
Alrighty, I'm fine. I'll be interviewing you today, as I discussed with you before the camera came on. When and where were you born?
I was born in Houston, Texas.
How did your family get to Texas?
Well, my family migrated from Louisiana, so I'll say about 3 generations ago, my family decided to move to Houston to pursue other opportunities, and that's where my parents met and also my grandparents met.
Okay, so what do you remember about your childhood? I'm pretty sure it wasn't that far ago, but what do you remember?
I would say I remember a lot. A lot happened as far as growing up. In what aspect would you say?
Was there any social inequalities growing up in the South?
Of course, there are social inequalities in the South. I would say some of the biggest social inequalities were more so with the segregation that was still occurring even when I was a child. So, when I was born in the 80s, I would say a lot of Houston was still segregated. You know, the blacks were in certain areas and you had the whites in certain areas, and I even attended a predominantly white high school, but earlier in life I attended all black elementary and middle schools.
Okay, so that was like a different transition for you.
Yeah, I would say it was a transition. That was a pretty big transitional point throughout life or whatever, but it was good. I feel like being able to be around black people at a younger age, because it helped me build my foundation and stand up as a man and learn how to, deal with society, not being as diverse, especially in corporate America and other opportunities. So I got a chance to experience different aspects of life by going to different schools and experiencing different situations.
Okay, so when you did that, what actually made you attend TSU then?
Well, when I attended TSU, I actually had just graduated, and like I said, from a predominantly white high school. So everyone I went to school with was talking about A&M, UT, and all these other big name universities and stuff. But my father, my mother, and my grandparents all attended TSU. So it was instilled in me at a young age, especially being from Third Ward community, that TSU was a great institution. I've actually attended several workshops there as a child and attended different events there. Always been familiar with some of the popular and infamous professors like Dr. Freeman, and plus my uncle was a dean at one point at TSU. He was Dean of Public Affairs and actually started the Public Affairs program at Texas Southern. So my family had a lot of roots at TSU, and that really made me want to attend that university so I can learn, and from the best in my community and also, in my opinion, around the world. Because a lot of universities, don't necessarily have as much culture and heritage as TSU to the extent to where I can relate and want to learn from those individuals.
Some people beg to differ, I tell you.
Yeah.
So, my next question to you is, from TSU, you decided to become a business owner.
Yes.
Can you tell me about your business?
Well, I feel like as a child, I was always an entrepreneur, whether it was selling what they call in the South cool cups or, whatever it was. I was always finding a way to sell things and make money. I was an entrepreneur because I was really into electronics and gadgets and computers and stuff. So my parents, they were hard workers, but they didn't spoil me at all. So everything I had to earn, I had to work for, or either find a way to make it happen. So one of the ways I did that was by becoming an entrepreneur at a young age, and I would do all kind of things and sell stuff in the community. I would teach people how to do things on the computer, fix computers. I would burn CDs, everything someone could possibly do with a computer, I would do. Okay. And became an entrepreneur.
So in your current day, I mean, tell us about your current business.
Okay.
So you were always what you would call an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
So you were your own business owner, so you like to always make your own money. So you don't never like to work for people.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now in today's time, tell us about that and maybe any different social inequalities or any inequalities that you face now that you're an adult and you have your own business and you deal with employers and different types of people having to do different things on a daily basis. Explain to me basically how that goes and how you face certain things, especially you as a black man doing this.
Well, I feel like anytime you're a black business owner, sometimes there are some stereotypes that you hear. But since I've worked in corporate America for a while and I decided to, do my own thing, I decided that I want my business to be structured. And I feel like as a small business, some small businesses don't take the time to brand themselves or realize that you are a brand just simply by existing. So although you're a small business, you're still a brand and you need to treat your business like it's a brand. So I've always, went out of my way to make my company, although it could be, 500 square feet, although it's not, but I'm just saying if it's 500 square feet versus 5,000 square feet, I feel like you still must have a nice corporate and business identity. And regardless if you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, no one should be able to walk into your business and get that feel or know, what race the business is. So I always make sure, to aim for excellence in my business, how I deal with customers, how I encounter people whenever I'm marketing. I always make sure to be extremely professional. And I think that's one of the, keys to success, especially when you're dealing with businesses that include clientele.
So is there a notable moment in history in America and in one that you've encountered by being a black business owner that you'd like to tell me about that experience and like what happened? One would be something that may have happened in your life that happened in American history that has impacted you. And the other that I would like to know about is something that could possibly have happened in your business that impacted you.
Okay. I would say throughout history, there have been several laws that, of course, have changed the lives of many. Like, for example, the Civil Rights Act and, just simple rights allowing us to be able to vote and exercise that right to vote. Throughout history, there have been several things that have occurred and that have impacted me as a person. For example, I went to the inauguration of Barack Obama, so being there actually in that moment was, I would say, definitely life-changing. And it just, allowed me to see the light, even though I was in corporate America at the time, that, hey, if he's doing it, I know I can do it as well. So I kept pushing towards my goal of being a business owner, and that's when I decided to open my tax office. And now we have multiple locations around Houston, and we have an office in Florida. So it just allowed me to know that things are possible. I feel like, throughout life, certain things do occur that allow you to know that you're able to do, to basically reach the sky, and that's why certain people are, coming to your life.
So Obama as a black man, many would say that, I don't know, he's an Oreo, I guess, if you want to say that much. I personally don't feel that way, but they believe because of his background, his institutions, and his, I guess, not so much of his inner city connection with black people, only his skin color, that his relatability to black people isn't that relatable. So that's why a lot of people wouldn't take him as what you call look up to him or motivate them. Do you agree? Well, I guess you don't, because he.
I don't agree with that at all. I feel like I've heard the term Oreo throughout life or whatever, and I don't like that term. I feel like it's very, very, very degrading and meaning to say that about someone. And I would say everyone should have a public image and a private image. So I feel like what we see is the presidential image, just like, when certain people become presidents, they act, talk, and walk different, and, but behind closed doors, I feel like you can be yourself and be who you really are. And I feel like he knows that America and the world is watching him as a black man and the first black man, and he's going to conduct himself in a certain light and in a certain way.
So, as a black business owner, what opportunities do you give people of color that you can help change the fact of the growing social inequality that is taking place now in America?
Well, I know one thing that we do, practice that we don't mind giving people second chances. So we have people that have worked for us that have records or may have had things happen in the past that most companies probably wouldn't even consider you to work with, in their office or with their information. So we believe in giving people second chances to be able to work for us and earn a living for their family, because I feel like the way the justice system is set up, it's set up so that people who are poor or socially disadvantaged to fail because, a lot of times they're not able to get out of tough situations like someone who's been privileged or, has more access or knows a judge or knows someone, who's gonna take care of them or look out for them and stuff. And I just feel like, it just goes back to a lot of issues that we've encountered as a country and with laws and things that happened, before I was born.
So I understand that you wish to own any sports team, such as like an NBA team. And you recently told me that the steps kind of upset you about owning an NBA team.
Yes, it's always been a dream of mine to have my own NBA team. And, I know there are a few different paths, but, and as I work my way up with my businesses, I'm looking at my dream and realizing how far, away it is as far as being obtainable. Just to get started with the process, just to even apply, it costs $1 million. So you can apply, anyone can apply, but at the end of the day...
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. You said apply.
Yes, just to apply. Just to apply, it costs $1 million.
To apply?
Just to apply.
So you don't just get to own if you have the money?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like an entire board, and they make all kind of decisions. Basically, it's about who you know. Not what you know or what you have or how hard you've worked or where you are in life. It's about knowing those people that are already connected.
So dealing with inequality and you wanting to own an NBA team, well, my next question is, have you ever heard of these things called money games?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so how do you feel about those?
I feel as if these HBCUs are being taken advantage of, like especially their players and stuff, because they're put in very tough situations to play these big Ivy League schools and
because they want to be seen, right?
Exactly. Yeah. They're doing it for exposure and stuff, and I don't feel like it's necessarily for the best of reasons and stuff. And I feel like it's a practice that should be ended because at the end of the day, I feel like we don't necessarily need to entertain those.
Okay.
Yeah. Those.
So you graduated from an HBCU.
Yes.
You also attended a PWI, and you also have interest in owning your own sports league team. I don't know, maybe I would go with NBA, I guess, because you might not get approved. I'm just playing.
Exactly.
Reach for the stars. But and you also own your own business. So my next question to you is, with these money games taking place and these athletic programs feeling as though they somehow will improve their athletic program, what do they call it? It's a short-term problem with a long-term fix. So, do you believe that this is taken away from the creativity of a HBCU and how a black man can actually orchestrate himself to feeling as though maybe I can run my business or my institution this way because, well, my institution that I went to, they participated in this. So do you believe that they're insinuating that taking this money and doing these things and endangering these players, do you believe that inequality, because they do not have this, do you believe that that's okay?
I don't think that's okay. I think a lot of things that are done because of tradition. Not necessarily that they're in the best interest of that institution or the students. Just like I believe, all the athletes now that are playing, I believe they should receive some type of compensation beyond education. So I just think a lot of things are done because of tradition, and a lot of things need to be changed.
But the tradition of an HBCU, right?
Yes.
So you do know that they stand to improve the quality of life for minorities and blacks, and to educate us.
Yes.
So, tell me if I'm stepping a little bit forward, but if you decide to take money from a white institution to now run your institution because for some odd reason you cannot support this athletic program anymore, do you believe that that's going against what we stand to improve? Or do you believe that that's actually somehow improving because it's not a forever thing?
I believe, a lot of times universities, especially a lot of HBCUs, since they're underfunded, they do things strictly because of funding. So I believe whoever's making those decisions are making them with the best of intentions, although they may not be for the best of the students and for the university. So I know as a business owner, sometimes I have to make tough decisions as well, and I understand, why a decision can be made and why it shouldn't be made at the same time. So I feel like long term, no, it's not the best, but maybe for the short term, they look at it as a necessary or needed solution. So I can understand both, points of view.
Okay, so I mean, when you say a necessary or needed solution, you're a businessman, so I'm sure you've heard of Black Wall Street.
Yes.
Okay, so as people being business owners, I mean, I attend Texas Southern, you went to Texas Southern, but there's FAMU, there's plenty of HBCUs, I guess, around the nation that has participated in these money games. And when it's all said and done, my issue is we've had a Black Wall Street. And the athletic program doesn't take that much to basically keep itself out of social inequality and inequality in general, because we're not creating the caliber for just the athletes. We're not creating the caliber for the school, the institution that it stands for, anybody coming out of the institution, because at that point we now know that our institution cannot stand without a certain check, or our athletic program cannot stand without a certain check from somewhere. But that shouldn't be what it is, because we're supposed to be improving the quality of life. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I agree.
So that's why it's so interesting to me, because we had a Black Wall Street, you're a Black business owner, which is why I decided to do this project. I am Steaffon Jones, and inequality that is being taken place still is a growing issue around the United States when it comes to blacks and minorities, and I do believe that it should be fixed. And I do thank you for taking the time for doing this interview.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right.